about our work as a board. And with that, meeting has been called to order, and Joe, can you do roll call? Please.
Alyssa Norman.
Here.
Laura Montana.
Here.
Pete Madrone. Jim Doty. Here. Allison Flynn. Debbie Hartridge.
Here.
Allison Tam is excused. Pauline Broderick. Here. Gardner Carlson. Here. Catherine Celeste.
Here.
Oscar McGowan is excused. Okay, so we have 7 out of 14 and one more play.
Hey, so
I'm sure the board is going to say
all right, so we don't have a quorum at this time. So we will move on.
You only do information.
Yeah, information only, no voting on anything. So, that are there any adjustments to the agenda? Righty. So now we move into our public comment time. We'll start with public comments here in the room. Keep your comments to 3 minutes, and this is being recorded, so if you can speak up and out so everyone can hear, much appreciated.
Joe, can we increase the screen here? Sonia and Jeremy are on that.
So those boxes fill up the screen and we can see who's on there.
Yes.
And on the top right, you change the view.
Yes. Yep.
I just realized I forgot introductions.
Well, maybe by that time a quorum will show up.
There you go.
Ever the possible.
Slowly.
Yeah, I'm texting one of them right now.
Hold public comments and let's go back to introduction of staff and guests. So let's start here. We'll just go down the line, starting with Emmy.
Okay. Hi. Yeah. Good afternoon. Emmy Botzler Rogers. I'm the Behavioral Health Director. Nice to see everyone.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Oliver Gonzalez, Program Manager for the Mental Health Services Active for Behavioral Health Branch.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cal Kelsey Olson. I'm the lead organizer of the Humboldt County Transition Aging Collaboration and also the chair of the Humboldt Health Foundation.
Hello, my name is Kat Sondland, and I'm the budget participant. Hi, I'm Laurel Johnson. I'm an analyst in DHS Administration.
Hi, I'm Laura Coulter. I'm Administrative Secretary for Jefferson.
Now I'm Paul McNecky, Deputy Director of Behavioral Health.
Joe McManus, Executive Secretary of Behavioral Health.
We'll go to on Zoom, start with Christine.
Hello, Christine Messenger. I'm with DHHS Communications Group.
Do we have any sound from anybody?
Jeremy, can you introduce yourself? See if we have sound.
Yeah, hi everyone. Jeremy Nilsson.
No, sound is turned off on the computer. The little sound thingy on the monitor on the bottom right. Over to the left a little. Look to the right. There you go.
Good.
Okay.
Try again, Christine.
Hi there, Christine Messenger, DHHS.
No, there's some off. That was good. That was a great. That was a good
call. That was a good.
We're a little bit like anything on my car. Oh my. Oh, that's fun.
Well, try now, Christine.
Jeremy's muted.
Hi there, Christine Messenger.
No.
Can you introduce the staff that's up there?
Sure. Christine Messenger, with our media. Sonia Levy Boy from State. Jeremy Nielsen, Deputy Director.
That's a little feedback. Okay. So how about if we're hearing that if all right, let's start in the room with guests who have not introduced themselves yet, and then we start with you.
I'm Carol Green. I'm a retired third grade teacher, and I'm a NAMI mommy.
Welcome.
I'm Virginia Bass, and I'm not quite a member yet. I plan to be here as a member, but I'm a guest today.
Oh, my name's Hillary Gapperson. I'm here to make some public comments. I'm someone that's part of the community. Yeah.
Yay. And then if the people could in chat introduce yourself on the Zoom. No, it's awkward, but Dakota, Sharon. And if that doesn't work, we will find interference. I'll keep trying for a minute.
Have one of them try now.
Dakota of the Youth Advisory Board. Thanks, Dakota.
I'm Sharon Benda with NAMI on the NAMI board.
Yay, it's working.
See, that was just to give the that time to get here.
I'm here. So oh, good. It's noted that we now have a quorum with Danette Kellerman.
Thank you.
In the house. All right. Is there anybody who has not been introduced, however awkwardly that was? I think we're all good. So now go to public comments. We'll start in the room.
All right. My name is Hillary Galperson. Thank you for having me today. I am someone that suffers from mental health and also helps provide, let's see, help to others that suffer from the same. I will just go from when I came here. I came here about 4 years ago to Humboldt County, originally from Los Angeles. I've been diagnosed with bipolar depression since I was 15 years old, on and off medication, but came here up here on it. Immediately found a doctor. He retired. Found another doctor. She moved. Tried online. Couldn't get what I needed at the proper dosages and such because I was already on certain dosages. It took my aunt having me drive down to Los Angeles and private pay for someone to see me in order to be seen, in order to be heard, in order to get the help I needed. And I'm blessed and honored for that privilege. I know many in the community do not have that privilege, but I was able to, because I turned in my paperwork to Open Door about 4 months ago. Haven't gotten an appointment yet. And I understand that that is our reality all over the nation, and especially here. I just want to note that when my aunt actually called, even the woman over the phone that works in the office said, take your niece out of this county, get her help somewhere else. I don't know who that was, not trying to get anyone in trouble, but it's to that point, because as someone who's been a mental health worker before, worked at psychiatric hospitals, actually had been hired as Sempervirens when I moved up here, worked in drug and alcohol counseling. I know how hard it could be. I know how defeating it could feel, regardless of what position you're in. It hurts to not be able to help people. I am now on the medications I need to be on, receiving the proper therapy. I'm able to receive. I see your missions and your vision to reduce poverty and connect people and communities for opportunities for health and wellness. That is something I try to achieve. The reason I fought so hard to get back on track is because that's what I want to do. I've independently been able to start a cleaning business that specializes in cleanings for low cost and free cleanings for those suffering from mental health, single mothers, anyone that just needs some help, needs me to go in there and clean up for you so you can just get back to that place and then continue to work with you in order to keep it such. And I know I'm about done here, which is good because I'm running out of things to say, but I just want to thank you for hearing me out today and allowing me to speak. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment in the room? Is there any public comment online? Just got a text from Cass. All right, she cannot log in, so. All right, if there's no other public comments, we will move on to action items. Now that we have the quorum.
Steve is here, but he can't vote, but I think we should just acknowledge.
Acknowledging that Steve Madrone has joined us via Zoom. All right. So action items. Oh, wow. Sure is. Approval of the minutes from the 6/22/23 meeting.
Can I just point out a couple of typos? Page 2, SB 343 should just be SB 43. And then on page 4, reports, chair, vice chairs, HIPAA is 1P and 2 A's. The quality improvement just never goes away.
So what I need is someone other than myself who usually makes the motions to make a motion that.
My name is Dana Kellerman. I make a motion that we approve the minutes. I second that. With the second and corrections.
We have a first from Danette and a second from Melissa. Any comments other than that? So all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Stand aside. All right, minutes approved. Our second action item is approval to send membership renewal for Tim Doty to the Board of Supervisors. Anyone want to make?
I, Debbie Hartridge, move approval.
Vernon Price, second.
Okay, we have a first and a second to approve the renewal for Tim Doty. And I'll take the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
You're stuck with us.
The motion passes. Thank you very much. All right. Item 6, discussion item. So we have Oliver here, who is going to tell us about the CRC visits.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me in today. My name is Oliver Gonzalez. Normally, you guys see me here as a Mental Health Services Act Program Manager, but today I'm wearing my hat as Ethnic Services Manager, representing the Cultural Responsiveness Committee. And I know Joe's probably going to put the presentation slide, but I have to prepare for you in a little bit. And then, Joe, do you remember how to put into slideshow? Yep, that's the one. Thank you. Perfect. So this is, I'm going to present to you the Welcoming Environments Part 2 CRC recommendation, Cultural Responsiveness Committee recommendation that we prepared. And with the hopes that in the end, you will have a better understanding in terms of what we want to do as a committee and see where the Behavioral Health Board can actually help us implement this recommendation. So with that, we say the word welcoming environment throughout our recommendation, and I want to kind of give you guys a baseline of what we're referring to when we say a welcoming environment. So a welcoming environment is one in which staff, persons, clients, or visitors feel seen for who they are and their diverse culture and ethnic groups are reflected. It is an environment that feels welcoming to them. The Behavioral Health Cultural Responsiveness Committee would like to assess how welcoming behavioral health environments are to all individuals by using a human-centered design lens. And a human-centered design practice is of building spaces and systems that are useful, usable and engaging to people and built in a response to the needs, preferences, and behaviors of the people who will be using them. So as far as some history goes regarding welcoming environments, as you can see in initial slide, it's part 2. There was a part 1 that took place actually. This actually took place in the end of 2018 and ran through 2019. It was a project that was run by the Cultural Responsiveness Committee. It consisted of an online employee survey and a group of staff or volunteers that reviewed specific behavioral health locations. The data that was gathered from these locations resulted in a final report, including recommendations to improve these behavioral health environments. The project took place before the pandemic, so no implementation or recommendations actually took place. So we're kind of picking up from that and making sure we're being responsive to it. The previous report that was considered during the welcoming environments will be considered in welcoming environments part 2 as well. So as far as an overview of what part 2 entails, the objective and predominantly a lot of the elements that we use for part 1 are staying the same, and that is to increase the welcoming quality of our behavioral health locations and environments to diverse cultural and ethnic groups, including those seeking services, staff, and visitors. The behavioral health environment reviews will be conducted and limited to only waiting room areas and lobbies. So I wanted to just emphasize that because we want to preserve the confidentiality of the sites and how they work. No more than 5 reviewers per site will be included. So we're hoping for 3 CRC members to be Cultural Responsiveness Committee. For 3 Cultural Responsiveness Committee reviewers and or members, I mean, and 1 to 2 behavioral health members in total as well. A checklist will be provided to reviewers. A survey will be distributed electronically and physically to both clients and staff. And I highlighted and bolded clients and staff because one of the lessons learned that we had in our first round was that it was only for staff. So we want to be inclusive to what clients and what the people who visit these locations are seeing as well. The survey will be available for about 4 weeks or so. And based on that data, we'll be producing a report with the environment recommendation we'll be generating. So just wanted to point out how that data is going to be used. It'll be up to the programs and their budgets to accept and work on the recommendations we'll be making. And also we'll be coordinating very carefully with our facilities managers as well, because some recommendations may be limited in terms of how state regulations work as well. So how can the Behavioral Health Board help? And this is kind of like the big ask I'm really trying to bring home to you today. And that is to please identify 1 to 2 behavioral health members that are available to help to conduct these environment reviews alongside with us at the CRC. That's really what we're really wanting and needing from the Behavioral Health Board. And I know that you guys have had ad hoc committees in the past that kind of have aligned with some of the things that we're intending to do as well. So we want to make sure that we're getting your input as well. So with that in mind, we're in the question section. Great timing. Yeah, great timing.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
I want to know is you sent out an email recently requesting some volunteers.
Yeah.
Is this?
This is
okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
This is this is the context of my email essentially.
Okay. Just want to make sure I'm on the same page.
Really?
I haven't landed yet.
I have a quick question. Can people go to different sites, or you're looking for 2 volunteers that will go to all the sites?
We're looking for 2 volunteers that will go to all the sites.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for specifying that.
I don't know who raised their hand first, so.
Okay.
Oh, I was sharing.
Oh, okay, okay. Volunteer, appreciate it.
So we have quite a few volunteers. We actually had 9 people.
9 people willing to
So,
volunteer.
Yeah.
Okay.
so we all cannot.
We all can't volunteer.
No.
Darn.
Yes. Question?
Is it helpful if the VHB members who are there have some connection with diverse communities, or that?
I mean,
Is
yeah,
that like helpful, or
yeah, it's helpful for sure. I mean,
if we have 9 people volunteering, you're gonna have to pick 2, right?
Well, I would suggest that you as a board identify the 2 that you would like to put forward,
okay.
right? Rather than us just picking from those who are interested. Yeah.
So should we give a little speech about why we should be picked and then go forward from there?
And let me just add one more thing, Alyssa. I don't know that it has to happen today. Like you could take some time to think about how do we want to create structure around selecting representatives for this project.
So I think that should be done. That we should take the time.
Yeah.
Because when does this need to be done, Oliver?
it's right now we're still working on some of the minute details, so we have a lot of flexibility in terms of the timeframes. So I can't give you like a specific date, but as long as I'm hoping in the next 3 months, hypothetically, that we can engage in this work.
I just want to say we don't meet in August. And
Yeah.
so we can handle this. I have just a general thought. Maybe we want to make sure we have someone with a lived experience of our volunteers. And I don't know what else.
Joe, could you take down the question so we could see the people on Zoom? And for the slides, yes.
Hallie has a comment or question.
Sorry.
Yeah, just in regards to the implementation of the prior welcoming environment survey, Tay did implement several of the recommendations.
Oh, that's right. Thanks for letting me know that. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that.
And do we have a list of the sites?
We have a working list, yes.
And do you want to share that or not?
So it's in draft form still. That's the thing. We're still deciding which ones to go to, which ones are willing to have us there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just the where you enter. Just that's what we're looking at.
Where you enter and where clients wait.
Like the lobby area.
The lobby area.
Just to circle back for a minute related to time frame, I think if a decision could be made by the end of September, that would be good. That's 2 months out, and then we would have time to then, start putting logistics in place to roll it out.
I kind of a comment, maybe we need to think about that, but it's really hard to choose from 9 people, And so what is the best way to do that? I know we don't want to roll dice or something, but is it, how do we vote for each other?
Well, I work for Tri-County Independent Living, and I work closely with Julie Harris, who is a low vision advocate for Tri-County Independent Living and our assistive technology coordinator. And then I as well have worked with ADA Access and also are a peer. And so I was thinking that if I wanted to participate, it would be fantastic to be able to bring Julie along to be able to assess the workability of the front of the building and the waiting room for individuals who are blind or low vision. So I feel like that is like she's really important to be there. But that's just what I was thinking.
So is this something where we should have a special meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have a special meeting. Huh? And I like the idea of, sorry, it's my hand. I like the idea of everyone who wants to volunteer to give us basically why they would like to be a part of it and how they might help. Is that? Okay.
I'm not gonna volunteer, but I have a question. Because I do feel, you know, we want to know some things before we vote for people, obviously. So having been in the Semper Virens waiting room myself numerous times, I've noticed that there's a lot of acknowledgement, to me, there is anyway, of the local Southeast Asian culture there. I mean, I could describe it, that there are quite a few art displays. Has everybody been in there? Yeah, so you know, there are some things that acknowledge the Southeast Asian culture, specifically Hmong, I think, but and other things too that have been put up. And so I guess my question is, in terms of welcoming environments, I assume, is it correct, that we are looking at a variety of groups that use these services? For example, the local different ethnic groups, like the Southeast Asian group, Latino or Latinx, etc. So, I mean, to me, if you are interested in helping assess this situation in waiting rooms, it would be helpful to know if you have some connection with certain ethnic group. I mean, at least somebody there will, hopefully, in the group. Is that a good question? Or not?
It's what I'm getting at. Peer representation.
Representation of different groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was great hearing about your idea there, because I wouldn't even have thought of that. And
like the ADA perspective.
And that's really important. Yeah.
So, but and so marginalized populations, are they in whole being represented by this change, or are we just looking at different marginalized populations not taking into account their vulnerability class, like mental illness and disability?
That's a great question. And Debbie, I appreciate you bringing up the current work that's already happened at SP as an example. Your percentage population specifically, right? Because it really emphasizes that the work is happening. It's just what this project is really ensuring is that we're remaining consistent and that we're remaining engaged and committed to this kind of work, right? As a board or just as a community in general. And what I want to say on this is we have a checklist that we're developing, okay? And this checklist is going to have basic things, kind of like to look at whether or not there's paperwork available for that represents other communities, right? We can have like LGBTQ documentation, is the location missing that, things like that. When it comes to SV as an example, because that's the site that I feel like is continuously, it's open to the whole public, right? And it doesn't have the specific population in mind. I feel like with that one, at least, there's gonna be more, I feel, in terms of recommending, in terms of documentation or what to represent, right? But other locations like health museums as an example, or other sites are more focused on the type of clientele they see. That might be a slightly different story, right? In terms of what we see and what we recommend. So again, every location will have its own unique lens, I feel, and in terms of how we review it. But I just wanted to kind of say that, and again, Debbie, thank you for acknowledging that. It's so true. Yeah.
I would just add to Alyssa, I think to your comment, and just to be really clear generally, we're obviously we're not going to be able to represent every single group of people, right, to be there. But that's the intent of the checklist, is to have some broad stroke categories around, are we hitting the mark on these areas, these criteria that the Cultural Responsiveness Committee has lifted up as important as part of welcoming environments. I really wouldn't probably recommend bringing in an ADA person, because we have our own ADA requirements. If you all are in there and somebody goes, whoa, this doesn't seem appropriate because I can't read this, then that could be noted, and then we might do some follow-up about that, right? But it's just it's a pretty broad stroke checklist developed by Cultural Responsiveness Committee that is the starting point for conversation around, are we kind of hitting the mark in how people feel about accessing our facilities. And maybe there will be more work to do from there or more review, but it's just kind of the starting point for looking at facilities.
Okay, so I withdraw.
Oh, no, we're not even there.
No, I just was talking about bringing in an extra person,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's not what we're asking for at this stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a question to you, Oliver, again, the more you can give us ahead of time, the better it will be for us. Like if you haven't chosen all the sites, give us what you got. You know, it'd be nice if we had your questionnaire ahead of time, and you may be still be developing it, send it to us. Because that gives us that kind of information that will help us. That makes sense?
That makes sense.
And I guess I want to say one on it. Should everyone try hard not to take it personal, because it is the person, right?
Okay, so we will call a special meeting, but I'll get with you all over and make sure that we have your information before that meeting, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Oliver.
Will the special meeting be an informational one, or is that the time when we'll?
That is the time when we will all agree on who gets to be the two members.
Well said. Okay.
All right, moving on. Communications. So this is the time when all of us VHB board members get to say all the things that we want to say, and or ask the questions or give feedback on what you might like to see on the agenda in the future. So does anybody, any behavioral health board member want to have a few minutes to communicate?
We had the Disability Pride Festival last weekend. There were a lot of participants from the community. It went incredibly well, but we did have a known individual who had previously been connected to hate speech in the community show up, and we had to deal with that, and it ended up going pretty well, getting them off the site. And then we came back together and we had a wonderful time. Lots of people with disabilities in the community showed up to support each other, and it was a beautiful experience. I loved it, and that was our second annual Disability Pride Fest, and I'll try to get it out ahead of time next year for the third annual. So hopefully more people could join, but it's getting up and going, and it went really well.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'll just,
Sharon, can you talk? I don't think so.
That would have been,
Sharon Benda.
That would have been during public comments?
Well, okay. So I thought, NAMI, I am a member of NAMI Humboldt County, which is National Alliance on Mental Illness. Many of you know. And our state organization, which is NAMI California, has recently approached us about, and this is very appropriate here with today's discussion, of doing some kind of public event that brings in the issue of multiculturalism or cultural factors in mental health. We have a tentative date, and NAMI California has resources to help make this happen and be worthwhile. And I think we want it to be worthwhile. We're just getting started talking about it now. And we have to do it in early November, just in terms of the timing. So we have some time. And at this point, if anybody has any thoughts or ideas about some kind of something we should include in this event, which I think is going to be a panel discussion, maybe similar to what the city of Eureka has been doing. I'm not, it isn't, it's sort of in the planning stages right now, but anyway, I'm sure that we would really appreciate any kinds of input, and probably a good way to provide that input would be to email our NAMI email, which is, sorry, I'm kind of underprepared, but I will bring it next time to the meeting, but there'll still be plenty of time, or else I'll figure out some way to do it. Thank you so much. I should know it's like NAMI-@gmail.com or something. I should know that by heart by now after all the years. But anyway, that would be helpful. And otherwise, I'm kind of giving a heads up about it right now. We'll have more information later. That they're doing this around the state with all different NAMIs everywhere in California. So that's what we have going on apart from our other activity.
So if anybody has feedback for NAMI public events, let you know.
Yes, and you can let me know too. I mean, that would be fine. And you all have my email address.
Net?
I'm assuming this may or may not be the right time, but since everybody else is talking about events, we'll talk about Recovery Happens in Humboldt. It's September 9th, 2023. This is our, I want to say 5th annual, excluding no picnic during COVID. We did pass out information stuff and put banners up during COVID, but our annual picnic is September 9th, 2023. And it is, Recovery Happens is not just about alcohol and drugs. We recover from many things, mental health, not being enough, all kinds of stuff. So we're excited. This year is going to be bigger and better than ever, and hopefully everybody can please show up and be a part of it. And it will have, hopefully NAMI, I'm hoping NAMI will table up there. So
I've been away.
So there's my all right, thank you.
Thank you, Danette. Tim.
I wanted to say, maybe not everybody's fully aware, but Tim Ash has resigned. And it surprised me. As you may know, I've known him for a long time, and he came over and talked to some of us, privately about it. And it was an important decision for him at this time. And so that's been sent to the Board of Suits, and Virginia Vest had an application in that we approved. And so her name, Virginia, this lady over here, was sent to the Board of Suits, where she'll probably get a majority vote. And
Tim.
I'll be there with the campaign side for you, okay? Yeah. And so I just want to let everybody know about that. And the other thing is Sharon Wolf sent out, and Joe sent it out to all of us, about a webinar on the care court. And I've been looking at that, and it's good stuff. And it's a lot of UC Davis mental health resources, and has things from the ACLU, and it focuses on the volunteer, care court. You're directed in this program to hopefully avoid you from being conserved or going to an institution. But a key part is a volunteer who walks with them. And in that webinar and on that site, you can see what they're asking for in terms of supportive decision making, and what that means. You're not allowed to tell people what to do, but you help them decide. And that would be, I think we should have paid people to do it, because it's a lot of work for a volunteer, but it looks good stuff to me. It looks, and I, encourage everybody to see it.
So there's a training on August 2nd from 9 to 10.
August 2nd.
Yes. So
well said.
That was sent out.
Yes.
Right.
Did anybody want to get the NAMI email? Okay.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Will you tell me what it is?
Sure.
I know it.
Info at, yeah.
No,
No?
that one.
No. That's the only one under main page. Yeah.
All right, so we can email that out. That's all for communications. We'll move on to reports. And I can see that Connie Beck, the DHHS director, is online, and I think, oh, wow, there she is. Connie Beck, can you give us a report?
Hey, thank you. I don't know that I have a report. I was late to the meeting, so I didn't get to hear what the agenda was today, but I would like to say a couple of things. Tim Ash, there is a resolution for his retirement as a volunteer going to the board at the same time as him just being thanked by the board for his participation. Very important. He's been involved in so many things over the years that I just want to make sure that we all acknowledge that. And then I just caught that Virginia is in the room. I haven't seen her, but if Virginia's in the room, for those that don't know Virginia very well, she was a supervisor for I don't know how many years, a board of supervisor, and also a part of the behavioral health board for years, has a lot of experience, has really been a part of a lot of the big initiatives that we've done through behavioral health board, like our sequential intercept mapping. She took part in that, was really instrumental in our annual meetings that we would have and really strategize about how we improve our system through the behavioral health board and NAMI. So thank you so much, Virginia, for being here and being a part of this. I look forward to you being on the board. And then I guess the only thing that I will say, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, the navigation center. I have one more meeting tomorrow to with the attorneys to talk about the lease and trying to finalize some of the things that are kind of sticking points in us getting to move forward with that. So I think that's about it. I think the last meeting that we had, I talked about a date that it was going to the board, but I feel like every time I give a date, it makes it to where that date doesn't actually happen. So I'm hoping that after tomorrow, we'll be able to finalize things and move things forward. So thank you.
Thanks, Connie. Behavioral Health Board.
Yes, let's see, a couple things. I just echo Connie's comments about appreciating Tim and welcoming Virginia, and just, you know, really appreciative of Tim, and so glad that you're willing to step up and step into a role with us. I think it'll be amazing. I feel like there's so many things like kind of out in the wings right now. I was thinking as I was driving over there, we have so many like pending things that are coming. I know we've talked about Care Court and SB 43, and I was thinking about the mobile crisis triage benefit that's rolling out, and we'll be getting more guidance on that. And I just feel like there's a lot happening. And so just naming that, not that there's any substantial updates on any of those, but I just think we have a lot of work to be done, and it'll, I always appreciate the support of this board as we try to roll out new initiatives and kind of engage with the community about what that will look like, and help educate and get information out there. So I'm hoping as these things come online, we'll continue to have conversations here. I did want to just say at this meeting, and I'm pretty sure I haven't said it here, but probably most of you in the room know about the Behavioral Health Crisis Triage Center grant that we got in partnership with Mad River. So we're going to be partnering to build a crisis triage center in Arcata with Mad River, and I'm super excited about that. It's amazing. It's a $12+ million grant. And we're now that we've gotten it, we're starting to look at next steps around, Mad River contracting with the state, us starting to look together at plans and really just actualizing what the vision has been to be able to move it forward. So really exciting, and I will definitely keep this group posted. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is just that we finished up yesterday an MHSA Mental Health Services Act review with the state. We had auditors who came out for 2 days. It was an overall really good experience. I think for the most part, there weren't huge red flags that were lifted. We'll be getting a report back from them, I don't know, over the next few weeks or a month or so, and then we'll have 60 days to respond. I did want to say, partly because it was an area that they lifted up with questions, but it's also something that I'm really proud of in our community that we're doing. But they asked us about our local implementation agreements, those are the little agreements that we have with community organizations, partner providers to do the work in the community. It's PEI, so Prevention and Early Intervention funded. And it's kind of similar to the ACEs mini grants that some of you may have heard about, but it's where we offer up to $24,900 to community partners who can do some of the work of prevention and early intervention in the community. And I love those because it allows any organization in the community that has the infrastructure to do it to really develop proposals for the work that's needed in their community. So throughout Humboldt County, it can be anywhere. It can be, and we've done them many, many places. It can be far south or far east, or, projects by tribes or by education partners or by family resource centers. Like any organization that does the work in our community to help us prevent and intervene early with people with mental illness or potential mental health challenges, we can support them in doing that. The questions from the auditors was really like, how do you do this? What is your process? How are you ensuring that you're including community input and stakeholder input? How are you getting approval? Like they got really into the logistics of it, which is what they're supposed to do, but repeatedly acknowledged no other county does this. So we don't have precedent for how we review. So anyway, I just felt really proud of it because I think it's something that we do that's really amazing, and we're in dialogue with the state about how we do it so that we can justify that it's legit, which it is. But anyway, it was just something that came up, and I just wanted to share it with this group. So
Humboldt County, leading the state.
Yeah.
Something's good, something's not, but that's a good one.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I have. It's just questions. Thank you.
I hope.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're doing some of this work with tribes. Any idea how many? The reason I ask is I just noticed there's a lot of interesting prevention type things that some tribes are seeming to be doing these days. And so I was wondering if maybe this is partly being supported by the county.
So it could be, and we have a list of all the service agreements that we've executed so far. We can share that with you. There's a number of tribes over the course of the few years that we've been doing that have been awarded agreements, and we always welcome applications, and there will be more opportunities for that. And I believe, and if not, I'll ensure that this group gets notified when we're putting out the request for applications, and then that could be shared with anyone. But yes, any ways that we can support that work, we're absolutely willing to do that.
I'm glad. I do see, it seems like the Europe tribe is doing a lot of prevention these days, and it's very interesting.
Just as a reminder, because I think it's you know, related. A few years ago, we used MHSA funding for Two Feathers to be able to create infrastructure so that they could come online as a park provider. And now they've been providing services for years, and it's amazing because they can do that in the culturally responsive ways that we as county cannot, you know, so yeah, I agree.
Question, is there room for donors to join what you're doing? They want to write you a $200 check?
I think he's offering right now.
I will take mine up to me. Well, I'm not, this is one of the ways that we're spending MHSA. And I think it works really well within like our plan. If there were a donor that wanted to help fund something, I think there are mechanisms for the county to support that.
Well, in the Hope Center in the past, people would donate. You know, the Unitarian Church was on their list, but I think that was able to be used for very specific extra projects that were needed. But it was helpful. That's kind of the thing I'm thinking about. So you don't need to answer that right now.
Yeah, well, we do periodically have individuals or entities that want to donate for things that they have passion about, and that's always welcome. And that won't necessarily change the MHSA plan. Like that's designed to fund the things that, you know, we get stakeholder input on.
So I'll see how much cash I have.
One quick comment. Yeah, NAMI Humboldt just donated quite a few books, a couple $100 worth of books to Semper Virens, kind of working with staff there and seeing what they would like to have and what kinds of things. And we happen to be able to afford to do that at this point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've also, for instance, gotten donations for bus tickets for like transportation support. So yeah, there are places that happens and always hugely appreciated.
Righty, thank you for that update. AOT update. I think we're at the year. This is the first year.
Yeah, and Jack's not here today, and I probably have nowhere near the detail that he would. But yes, first year ended end of June, and my understanding was that we were kind of steady at 10, which is the kind of the program design, with one receiving services through court order. And we're looking to take an update to Board of Supervisors probably towards the end of this calendar year. So October, November, December, somewhere in there.
And any judgmental comments, like it's going great?
I mean, I feel like it's like the fact that we're at 10 is good. I mean, we're serving the population that it was designed to serve, and so that feels really good. And I would hate to say much more about it because I do want to have some time to review data. Like that's the intention, is to really be able to gather the data and look at like the first year and what are the outcomes of those being served, so that we can have something to present and share and get feedback on.
So will that data be shared with us as well as Board of Soups as soon as we get it?
Sure, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it will be made public, so everybody will be able to have access.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
I'm a bad person.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Yeah. Committees. Are there any committees? Vernon.
The ad hoc committee, Hope Center ad hoc committee will be meeting Monday, July 31st at 4 p.m. at the Hope Center. That will be the first of 3 meetings, and the other 2 meetings will be arranged at this first meeting. So there will be updates as they become available.
Excellent. Your patience and perseverance is greatly appreciated.
I still have questions regarding the AOD subcommittee. It's not subcommittee. What's it called? Ad hoc committee that we were discussing before.
Yes.
Am I still involved? Because I haven't heard anything about it.
So,
or am I?
So I had hoped Kat would be here, but I was going to suggest that you and Kat co-lead that SUD.
Okay.
And so Kat's not here, but I'll just say that I would love to see the two of you.
I'm here on Zoom.
Yay, he's here.
Oh, please note that, Joe.
Dad, do you have my number?
No, but I can get it from Laura. Sorry, I'm on the road, so my service is hit or miss, but I can get it from Laura, and I'd love to meet about SB.
All right, perfect. Great, so that is in the minutes that the two of you.
We got this.
You got this, okay, great. Thanks, Tina. Thanks, Kevin. I don't think there's any other committees at this time, so now it's report from vice chair and chair. Oh, no, you go first.
I brought with me a copy of the Rosenberg's Rules of Order, which is simplified from the Roberts Rules of Order, and it's from the League of California Cities. And is that something the Board of Sups uses their guideline?
I believe we do Roberts, because Roberts is a lot, it's more formal.
Rosenberg, yeah, Roberts is really formal.
Yeah, no, Rosenberg is more.
Yeah, and so I bring it up again, so they keep reminding us that we're a deliberative body. That's why we have motions and things like that. And the other thing is why the chair directs and why we, raise our hands. We're pretty informal, but that's, but I also wanted to say, there's a thing you can do, so you can call for the question, which is to say, let's go ahead and vote, and people can say, no, I need some more, I'll call for the question with a time limit. There's a way in which you as a board can participate in how things are going. You can call for a point of order, like what the heck's going on here, or information I need to know. Or you can call for a motion to be tabled, which means to be put off. And normally you want to say table till the next meeting. If you don't want to put any time on it, you don't put any time on it. It stays on the table forever, okay? Unless somebody says, I want to take it off the table. I just wanted to share those things about a board working properly, smoothly. Yes, ma'am?
I've been doing that a long time. Some of the things too, though, it's a little more complicated because when you call for the question, then you vote on whether you want to actually call for the question. So, yes. But there are ways to move it on and feel it.
Yeah. I was looking for a point of information, but there isn't any in this. I think you're okay. That's enough. Nobody else cares.
Supervisor McDonald is pretty good at this stuff.
I know.
I don't think you meant hands up. See, I told you.
Supervisor Madrone, did you have something to say?
Sure. Yeah, we've adopted new rules at the board in the last couple of years. And in that process, we are now using Rosenberg rules. They are abbreviated, but basically the same process, just in a more compact form. And I will agree very much so with Tim Doty's comments about structure. It's an interesting balance between formal and informal. And I think we all want to do more informal. The trick with that is that those of us that are real talkers will end up consuming a lot of the time, and others will feel like they can't get in there when you get a little too informal. But there's a time and a place for everything. We run our meetings pretty tightly in terms of you need to be recognized by the chair before you speak. And I will say that I think it works well if run well in terms of efficiency and everybody getting the chance to speak and all that kind of stuff. But, I like informality, and the more, I think the Behavioral Health Board is a group of people that really do want to feel a bit of informalness and closeness and not too bureaucratic. But finding that balance, that's the real trick. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's it for me.
All right. So now I have two things that I want to address. One was Vernon had sent a grand jury report where there was a call out about an example, and we were made as an example of groups who have not done all the things that they're supposed to do. And thanks for sending that out. And I did go through it, and I don't disagree that a few years ago we had 5 members and we are now up at 15. We had been a little bit tardy in putting some reports out, and we are not as tardy now. We're still a little bit tardy, but I feel good that we are making movement to be better. And I'm excited that we have a full board and that we're gonna just continue to improve. So I just wanted to address that, and we just need to be aware. To that end, there's something that we are supposed to do. We're supposed to do an ethics training every 2 years. Cal BHB has a very nice website where they have a training. It's a 2-hour training. I sent that link to Joe, and he'll send it out after this meeting, but I would like everyone to do that training. At the end of it, you can print or email the certificate that you finished it. I think it's really important that we start there with ethics. And while you're at that website, there are many, many other trainings. There's so much information. So to be a good behavioral health board member, we all need to educate ourselves. We need to do some of that work. So that's my gung-ho, let's go team. And other than that, the only thing I have to say is everyone should spend a month in Italy. It's amazing. It's the best time ever. What?
Oh my God, that's terrible. We need
I just have to say goals. That has been on my bucket list for years. I wrote it down and it's been on a chalkboard and I just checked it off. So my daughter and I plan to try to buy a castle for $1, and then everyone will be invited to come and do some fun.
I'm going to Ireland.
Okay. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, just in regards to the efficacy of the behavioral health board and related tasks. In 2018, I did a comprehensive strategic analysis for the board that outlined the specific ways to meet some of the welfare and institution code mandated powers and abilities that this board has that are not currently being utilized, as well as ways in which increase community engagement to ensure that the board is authentically representing the lived experience of mental health consumers. So I would happily reshare that.
I would love that. Yes. Yes. May have missed that. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's all I have.
Question.
Yes.
Are you of Italian descent?
I am.
Okay.
That makes half Italian and half Mexican. Alyssa.
Could we make the subject lines of the VHB notices a little bit more obvious? Like I literally get 100 emails a day, and I am 300 emails deep right now because I've been busy this week and I haven't been able to go through my emails. Is there any way we can make it like all caps or something?
Stars.
Okay.
Flashing. Yeah, with red on it. Something. I can't find that.
Okay, maybe I can work with you on that.
That would be fantastic. Is there a thing I need to do?
Maybe.
Okay.
Let's sit down.
Okay.
Happy to help. All right, unfinished business. Navigation Center, we kind of got the update already. And airport, is there anything else to say about airport, anyone?
Not that I can think of. Do you have any thoughts, Paul?
No, there's some things that we're working on that might support that. So as those develop, we'll be able to report out on those more.
Do you have any other reports, Paul?
Well, one, actually, we hired Catherine Muncie as our senior program manager to replace Kelly Johnson, who moved on to the tribe, for the tribe. So she'll be over all of our forensics programs and our mobile crisis team. So really excited. She started this week. So
tell us a little bit more about her.
Yes. She's not a stranger to the county. So she's went to school at HSU as well as other universities. She's worked in county finance. She's worked most recently for Family Nurse Partnership as a lead clinician there. She's worked at the home program when home began. So she has a strong interest in justice involved services and advocacy. So she's and she's been filling in doing mobile response responses in the community for the last 6 months or so, just filling in that gap. So she knows that system really well now, and I'm really excited about having her on board. Yeah.
Here's my question, sorry. Let's talk, thank you for sharing about this person. However, my question is, what is the proper procedure for mobile crisis response to get for, say I'm working at an office and there's an issue with a client. How do I get mobile response to them, or can I?
At this time, our mobile response team is primarily responding to the emergency departments to meet that need. As we work on the mobile crisis benefit implementation plan that I mentioned later this year, there'll be more opportunities for teams to deploy in the community to do more upstreaming with mobile responses in the community. So short-term question or short answer is continue to call our crisis line. Our folks at the CSU will respond to that. If it's in unincorporated areas of the county or MIST team, that's collaboration with the sheriff's department, they respond. So we have options. They're probably the best hub to route a deployment.
Okay, thank you.
And Laurel had a comment.
Thank you for saying that, Paul. I appreciated the messaging that the crisis line is the good one stop, and whatever resources are available, it'll be triaged and sent out, so we don't have to learn multiple numbers. We have that one number that's going to get the right service after we talk to the person on the other end of the line.
That's right.
Thank you.
Melissa?
Sorry.
No.
Can I just add to that though?
Yes.
If we're talking about City of Eureka has their care program.
Yep.
And so if you wanted to have a service that was a behavioral health related service, instead of calling 911, you would call their non-emergency dispatch number. We are still working with the city on what that looks like for between behavioral health and the city's behavioral health program. But I think that we have a lot of opportunity there. So I know that it sounds like it could be confusing, whether if you're in the unincorporated area or not. And so maybe that's a conversation that we have later with the cities, not just Eureka, but also Arcata, about how people, call in and ask for those services. So I'll just add to that. And I don't know, Emmy, if you have any more to say about that, but we have other partners that are doing some of this work. So it's really important that we are able to streamline it as much as possible so that people know who to call and when to call.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna, thanks for saying that, Connie. I was gonna just again reference that the rollout of the mobile crisis benefit is something that is really prompting us to coordinate these services with our community partners. And so there will be absolutely more dialogue with the City of Eureka and other community partners. We do work in Arcata as well. And so the intent of that benefit is to streamline our mobile responses throughout the community. And so that is what we're working towards as a long-term goal, and the shorter term is to use the current systems, which includes calling our crisis line and having them help triage and determine who can respond.
Thank you.
Vernon.
I'd like to ask Deputy Director if the person taking Killer Johnson's place, will she also be taking over CIT training?
So when Kelly exited, we took that opportunity because Kelly and I were working on having law enforcement take the lead on CIT as it's intended as far as the national model is concerned. So we were moving in that direction anyway. It was a good time for us to do that. So we did. We handed that off to Commander LaFrance and EPD to take the lead. We're still coordinating and collaborating together, but they're taking the lead at this point.
The second part of this question, and I apologize for not mentioning this in the beginning. Would there be any opportunity? Is there still any opportunities for members of this board to participate or be participants in the CIT training?
The local CIT, the week-long CIT training?
Yes, yes, sir.
That's definitely a possibility. And so far, we haven't had any major deviations from our structure that we've had over the last few years. So, and that's been a part of it. So I think there's opportunity there. Would you like me to bring that up in our steering committee?
That would be greatly appreciated.
Something pertaining to CIT, during the last CIT training, they didn't have the peer speaker section like they had the previous year. Will that be able to be reintegrated?
Well, I can inquire.
Okay, that'd be fantastic if that peer element could stay present.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Does anybody have future items to go on the agenda? Any board members?
I just have something in regards to the topic of care court, the general suite of behavioral health system reforms that the governor is forwarding in terms of perhaps giving some perspective to the behavioral health board and how you all engage with the board of supervisors, and as a result, how the county directs its resources in terms of policy and legislative advocacy, and what that could potentially mean for us. So care court, of course, is the first step, but also SB 43 that you all last meeting had an extensive conversation feeds into the expansion of care court. Now we have on the horizon SB 326, which is a restructuring of the Mental Health Services Act, which will severely change the ways in which prevention and early intervention funds are used. And the intention of that is the governor and Mayor Steinberg is for a large portion of those PEI monies to be 30% of those MHSA funds to be spent on housing for people that are involved in the care court program predominantly. The mandatory amounts of money spent on youth will be reduced significantly from almost 20% of PEI funds to, I think it's like 5% or something, like required for counties to spend their money on that. And as a result, some of the amazing programs that we have in our community, because of the mandate of care courts, have the potential with funding deficits and issues that we're seeing continuously of potentially being defunded, going away, et cetera. The issue potentially with our amazing implementation agreements could be completely altered by SB 326. And this is a ballot initiative that is working to go on the ballot in March of 2024. So in terms of your awareness, I understand that this board historically has been supportive of care courts, and there have been mixed conversations around SB 43, and prior to that, the implementation of the AOT program in regards to involuntary services. So in terms of your considerations of how our county moves forward and consider the voices of those of us with lived experience, just keep that in your minds. All of these things are interconnected. And when we advocate for more involuntary services that are unfunded mandates for the county to provide, that means in the future, resources could be directed away from the essential programs that are preventing an even larger crisis than we have currently.
Thank you. And I may reach out to you for more feedback from you. That's fine. Okay. All right. Anything else for the greater good? Jeremy, it looks so lonesome there. You want to say anything?
It's good to see all of you. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person.
Thank you for your cheerful face. All right. Thank you, everyone. This is my first meeting in here. I'm back. 132.
Hey, Laura, can I say one, well, maybe two things?
Hang on.
Hold on, Johnny wants to say something.
Okay, sorry about that.
Right, and I probably have another.
Go ahead, Connie.
Okay, I just want to say, thank you for your first meeting. You did a really nice job. I appreciate that. In addition to that, though, I just want to say, Kala, thank you so much for bringing that to this conversation, because it's really important, and I know that Jeremy and others in the children's world have the same worries about the shifts in Mental Health Services Act funding and what that might mean to HT Tacey and other areas where we have been movers and shakers in Humboldt County. The work that you and others have done, it has been well, I can't imagine not having that work and available in our county. So thank you, Kala. I just want to say again, thank you so much for bringing this forward. And I would love to see you more often at this meeting.
All right, thank you.
Thank
you. Okay, now with that, 134, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
I mean, I don't think I had a
paper.
Okay.
Is it a master? Okay, awesome.
Most of the time it's not.
So how many are you? Yeah, 12 hours. We're not.